How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome back to chaoschild. Well, we're finally, we're stepping into the true plot. There's been lots of build-up, lots of mystery, which has been good, but we finally are seeing the terms being mentioned properly. Gigalomaniacs was officially dropped. We know that we saw Nodose's name on the paperwork. For some reason, I saw Nodose's name, and I thought it was the doctor who had been the victim of the, like the brain removal new gen killing, the psychologist who gave Takabe his clean bill of health and let him leave the hospital when he was like a teenager. That's who I thought it was, but no, it was like literally the guy who was at Noah 2, did all the terrible things. Like, it was him. So yeah, we're seeing lots of good references. We're seeing lots of tiebacks. It's like kind of like we're really officially piggybacking now into that. And so now I'm expecting we get some more clarity, and I'm excited about that. But we're not quite done yet in our, infiltration. We're still, because Taku, despite everything, has remembered that he still lost his phone that he wants to retrieve here. And despite Mio saying, hey, you're being an idiot, we can't do that, he's going to try and, use the cameras. I think they're going to work, and I think we're going to see something horrifying. But yeah, I don't know. I remember I ran into a time issue and also just felt like a good time to stop. Like last week was the Rorschach test things and the 11th Rorschach and all that. It was fun. It was a good episode. I enjoyed it. So yeah, we're going to see how this plays out and what's going to happen next. But yeah, I think we're entering the climax of this infiltration. So I think we're going to have a pretty crazy start, and then it's probably going to die down into all right, what's the next hurdle we face? But I'm excited. And I gotta remember, watch for D-Swords appearing in the background. They're gonna do it. There's gonna be scenes where it's gonna be technically there, hidden away, and I'm not gonna notice it, but I want to try, because it's gonna happen. I could just feel it. Anyway, let's jump right in. I don't think there's anything else to say other than it's time to go. So, it's useless. We don't even know if the observation system's functional. I don't know. It's looking functional. Suddenly, the room was bathed in a pale light. Oh, wait. We didn't push a button? Oh, that's actually very bad. All the monitors on the wall turned on. All we could do was gasp. What we thought were security camera monitors were now showing. Oh. Oh, fetch. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And we know what these are. That was the coolest thing. The 11th Rorschach is the sumo face. Oh gosh, I just realized I'm super loud. Hang on a second. Maybe we back you up a bit. Hopefully that's a bit better. I just realized I glanced over at my audio, and it was peak, 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 peak. It was uh-oh. Apparently being way too loud. Okay. So the 11th Rorschach was the sumo face, or at least through testing, I think they realized that the double face sumo works like that 11th Rorschach. We know it can activate and have an effect on people who especially are potential Gigalomaniacs. Based on that, it would seem that Taku and our childhood friend, gosh, I know her name. Oh, you know who I'm talking about. I think we both have Gigalomaniac potential based on the fact that we both have a very strong aversion to these things. Everyone seems to have a weirded out feeling from them, but we have the strong reaction to them. But I think they're also they're a triggering effect. But I loved, that was my favorite thing about that 11th Rorschach. It came up on the screen, and immediately I was like, oh my gosh, that's the sumo face. I could see it right away. I was like, oh, that's the connection. Anyway, hundreds of sumo stickers. I was shocked. I almost screamed. Seneca, that's it. Seneca. Inside the monitors on the wall were face after sumo sticker face, all looking at me. Whose eyes are those eyes? What was this? What was going on? Yeah, they can trigger delusions. That's what we learned about the monster that attacked us, right? Sumo stickers can initiate a delusion.
おいおい、勝手に寝るんじゃない。
Kunosado-san. Huh? Oh no, I was back in the chair. Was this a dream? Which was the dream? Was I dreaming of being in this chair, or had I been dreaming of being in the monitoring room? My head felt really cold. Oh, that's right. She opened my skull.
お前はなかなかいい脳みそをしているな。
I like how she's become like the evil scientist in this one. Do I? It's also kind of like that's almost a creepy smile on her face.
ピンク色でシワが多くて、とても美味しそうだ。
Oh, that's disturbing. It looks delicious. Ugh.
それは喜んでいいんですか？
もちろんだ。さて、それじゃあそろそろいただくとするか。
Why in this creepy delusion does she look so happy and so cute? It's like, oh man. Kunosado-san grinned with glee as she took something metallic out of her pocket. A spoon?
人間の脳はこうして生きたまま食べるのがうまいんだ。
Oh, I'm sure. Huh? Who knew?
では、失礼して。
Oh, these sound effects. She was eating it. Kunosado-san was eating my brain.
ダメだ。止まらない。
Oh my gosh, stop trying to swallow the microphone.
食べられるってこんなに気持ちがいいんだ。
Yeah, well, I mean, most people wouldn't. Gotta stop. You can't do this. You can't.
もっともっと食べて。僕は食べて。
Again. I had another weird delusion. I quickly shook my head and slapped my cheeks to snap myself out of it.
なんかやだ。
気色悪い。
Seika and Ito looked unhappy. It was because of the sumo stickers displayed on the monitors. I looked at the monitors once more, trying my best to avoid the sumo stickers.
あれはこの病院の中じゃない。
Some of the monitors were showing the inside of the hospital, but some were looking somewhere else. Street corners in Shibuya, signs under bridges, alleyways, overpasses, train stations, stairwells, stone walls. It's all the cameras, the security cameras, isn't it? Like the ones that are put up all over the city. And then I realized, all the monitors with sumo stickers.
病院の外の監視カメラだけじゃないか。
And I even recognized some of them.
あそこは
That was the spot where Kurusu had been attacked. Of course there were sumo stickers there.
なるほどな。探していたということか。
Searching? Searching for what? Or for who, maybe? Maybe they're looking for the Gigalomaniacs.
探していた。
さっきのファイルに書いてあっただろう。特殊な事象変異を引き起こす人間は、11番目のこの画像に反応を示すと。
Yeah. So it's their test to figure out like how likely you are to be a Gigalomaniac. Probably not foolproof, but they said like, what is it, like 9%? 9% is pretty solid. God, like, I can't get the sound to balance right. I'm sorry. Kurosato-san pointed at the corner of one of the monitors. I quickly looked away before I got direct look at the sumo sticker. In other words, whoever was using this place put up the 11th Rorschach image all over Shibuya and used these cameras to find people who reacted to it. Oh, that makes sense. You put it up, you watch, and when people react, they become a target. And then they took them here and performed those horrible experiments on them. I remembered what I'd seen happen to Minamisawa Senri and felt like I was going to throw up again. And then Kunosato-san made a sharp noise. She put her hand on one of the monitors to brush away the dust and stared at it. It showed something moving around a dark room. There was no sumo sticker there. It wasn't an image of Shibuya or the hospital above, so it's probably showing one of the rooms down here. It was definitely the girl. On the screen, she was saying something in an old person lying on the bed and gently wrapping belts around their arms and legs. Oh, that's disturbing. Oh, security does come here. Or security, the girl with the cart. That girl was my only clue as to where my smartphone was. Which meant that we had to find the room on the monitor. Kunosato-san suddenly told me that she knew where it was. She'd been so uncooperative so far, I had no idea why she suddenly decided to help. But when she saw the girl, she suddenly said that she'd go with us. Of course, I knew her very well enough by now. She wasn't trying to help us, she'd simply taken an interest in that girl. At least, that was how I saw it. As we moved down the dim hallway, the temperature dropped and the humidity went up. She stopped in front of a door with the strange words on the plate. Confinement Room 3. Kunosato-san opened the door a little, taking care to make as little noise as possible. I peeked inside. And there I saw a world that you'd only ever see in the movies. There were rows of beds in the room. And there were what appeared to be prisoners lying on them. Multiple? How many freaking people do they have down here? And they were all different ages and sexes. Some were old, some seemed young. And one of them I recognized was the old lady the girl had been walking with before.
23985598357.
What are those numbers? Could it be day, month, year? I mean, if you're going to do that, you could also do time. So 2139, 8571. Yeah, so maybe that could be 21 hours, 39 minutes. The 8th of May, 1971. And then if we follow that pattern, no, that doesn't work with the second set. I can't handle the gagging sounds tonight. Ooh. Some were screaming, some were counting numbers endlessly. One was a girl who was endlessly chewing her food. It seemed unreal. I remembered the woman in the baby carriage I'd passed before and felt cold sweat forming on my palms.
ここは
強度の OCST 視床下部損傷による過食およびチューイング大脳半球損傷による反則空間無視障害全員脳をいじられてる
Yeah. I don't know OCSD, and we're going to get all these, but chewing and spitting caused by damage to the hypothalamic area. That's the parts, the back, like I was reminded of that last time. It's like towards the back near the brainstem that does the automated functions. And hemispatial neglect caused by damage to the cerebral hemisphere. So that's like the forebrain. So hemispatial neglect might be the similar to like what we would call lobotomy. But let's find out. Okay, so OCSD, short for obsessive compulsive spectrum disorders. A spectrum of disorders with obsessive compulsive qualities, such as the compulsion to repeatedly wash one's hands to wipe away an invisible stain. Disorders such as autism and Asperger's syndrome are also considered part of this spectrum. That's interesting. I didn't realize Asperger's and autism were considered part of that, and I wonder if that's changed since this game came out. Psychology evolves a lot, and it evolves fairly quickly, because we can't ever agree on how we do all the psychology, because psychology suffers from the other mind's problem, which is something I've brought up many times, but I will bring it up many times. Other mind's problem is the fact that it's hard to study something that's basically perspective derived. I can tell you, we could agree on a stop sign being red, but what I experience as red and what you experience as red is not the same thing. Our brains interpret it in our own unique ways. Like, unless I could develop the ability to literally look through your eyes and perceive things as you perceive them, I'll never truly know what it's like in your head. And that makes it difficult because science is based on, experimental, predictable patterns. And psychology is really challenging because technically everyone's personal psychology is unique. We can learn very good trends, and we can use trending data to try and use observations and identify and process the world and process other minds, but it's a tough science because there's always going to be that barrier where we can't do objective testing. Like, it's just always subjective, and that makes it very difficult to apply the scientific method and draw real concrete conclusions. So it kind of feels like it's always evolving and moving, because every time we try and nail something down, something else happens that makes us re-examine everything we thought we knew. Anyway, chew and spit. Type of behavior seen in patients with mental illnesses such as eating disorders. The behavior is characterized by excessively chewing of food and then spitting it out without swallowing it. And then hemispherical neglect. The inability of a person to recognize stimuli that occur to either the left or the right side caused by some form of damage to the brain. For example, if a patient with this disability was asked to draw a picture of an analog clock, they would only be able to draw half the numbers. This is because while their eyes sees the entire clock, the brain is only able to recognize half of it. Okay, so that's not even like lobotomy. It's just like your brain's not it's literally like half dead or something. That's crazy.
じゃあ、ここの人たちはみんな
So I'm guessing what it is that, remember the Rorschach has a strong reaction with 9% accuracy for people who are capable of becoming Gigalomaniacs. This is probably the 91%. The people who get broken by the process of trying to forge a Gigalomaniac.
そう簡単に処分することもできず、ここで飼い殺してる。
For a moment, the tone of her voice changed. It felt like there was a pale flame burning somewhere deep within her voice. It was a pale flame of rage, which seemed cold at first glance, but was actually incredibly hot.
タク
Seneca tugged at my sleeve and whispered. She pointed at a bed at the back with the other hand. I could see something moving past what looked like a curtain. It's the girl.
起きたらまたお散歩に行きましょうね。はい、今行きます。待っててください。
Interesting. I wonder if she can read thoughts, kind of like Kazupi could. Someone appeared from behind the curtain. There she is.
あの子だ。
It's also nice to know she talks like a normal person. The girl in the file, Yamazoe Uki, didn't seem to notice us. She moved around from patient to one patient to another, doing her best to take care of them. Aw, man.
よかった。彼女はまだちゃんと正気を保ってるようだ。
I could hear Kunosato-san whisper.
彼女からどうやってスマホを返してもらえばいいでしょう。説得とかしても聞いてくれるかどうか。むしろ警報でも鳴らされたら。
私はあの子をここから連れ出す。スマホの話なんて言うのはその後でいくらでも聞け。
I wonder if she's someone she knows.
え？
It took me a moment to realize what she was saying. But by the time I did, she'd flung open the door to the room and leapt inside. Yamazoe Yuki's eyes went wide at the sudden intruder. Kunosato-san grabbed her hand. We might have accidentally triggered the alarm system here. It's them panicking. All the patients started to scream, afraid of this sudden commotion. Yamazoe looked around the room and tried her best to calm the people there, even as Kunosato-san held onto her arm.
いいから来い。警備に気づかれる。早くしろ。だから、あなたは誰ですか？一体何ですか？お前をここから解放してやる。そんな、嫌です。やめてください。
This is very disturbing. The girl named Yamazoe Uki went pale and tried to free herself from Kunosato's grip. She was in a complete panic. Kunosato-san must have decided there was nothing to be gained by talking because she quickly moved around behind her, put her arm on the girl's carotid artery. She then applied a very light pressure. Sheesh. Yamazoe Uki moaned for just an instant, then she slumped backward into Kunosato-san's arms. She seemed to have passed out. That's risky, though.
Boy.
It works, but it's like literally you're just cutting off blood supply to the brain. You pass out because you can't stay awake like that, but like you can do damage that way.
はい。
タイムリミットだ。はぐれたら置いていく。あとは知らん。
え？
ここの連中みたいになりたくなければついてこい。
She put the unconscious girl on her back and then ran outside the room without bothering to wait for us. I was stunned at her speed, but there's no time to hesitate. Go, go, go!
尾上、いた！
I motioned for Setika and Ito to run into the hallway. We followed after Kunosato-san as fast as we could. Just like she said, if we got lost here, we'd be caught for sure, and who knew what would happen to us? I kind of feel bad that we're abandoning them and taking away like one of the few people who actually seem to be caring for them. I didn't know who was doing these experiments or why, but their victims were suffering horrible fates. As I ran, it felt like their screams of rage were following me. I'm amazed we actually got out of there. I can't believe that we caused so much commotion and didn't get caught.
もう、ダメだ。走れねえ。
That'd be me. I'd just be like, I'm just gonna die here, guys. We followed Kunosato-san as fast as we could, and we made it outside the hospital via a different route than before. Kunosato-san was sweating like a racehorse, and her breathing was heavy, but she never let her guard down for a second. Instead, she seemed to be looking around intently. We were at the back of the hospital. This seemed like the exit where they moved corpses from the morgue to the hearse. For that reason, there was a fence surrounding us that kept us hidden. Kunosato-san had evidently taken the fence into account in her escape plan from the start.
これからどうするんですか？ これから
I was too out of breath to speak, so Serica spoke for me.
地下施設はもう大騒ぎになってるはずだ。ここも間もなく見つかる。死にたくなければ足を動かせ。行くぞ。
If you don't want to die. We're almost at the rear gate of the hospital. She started to run toward it. We followed her with the last of our strength. There was a guard stationed there, but inside there were only 2 men who were asleep with their heads pointed toward the ceiling.
それほど長い効き目の薬は使ってない。急がないと目を覚ます。
Oh, just casually, like, yeah, I gave him a drug to knock them out. I frantically made my way through the guard station and finally got past the hospital's outer walls. This isn't the alleyway with the crucifixion. We ran a little longer and found the van parked in a secluded spot.
何よ、みおちゃん。ずいぶん賑やかじゃない？
Tell me about it. Hey, there she is, Momosa. A broad-shouldered woman looked up at us from the driver's seat. It was hard to tell how old she was. Her attitude and mannerism made her feel like an older person, but the mischievous grin on her face made her seem younger.
で、必要なことはつかめた？
ええ。あれだけの犠牲者を出しながら、例の実験では結局、理論を完成させることができなかったようです。
そう。
That's
ディソー
disturbing.
ドの発言にも確実性はなく、ギガロマニアックス実験は失敗だったと。
Yep. So they were trying to force D-Swords. Well, I don't know though. Like they still managed to manifest them through the trauma. Like that seemed to kind of work, but maybe that only works in such a small number of the population, and that person has to get most of the way themselves.
まあ、予想した通りよね。
ギガロなんだって。
And what exactly is a D-Sword? She didn't say something. Didn't she say something about that in the monitor room?
ただ、重要な情報源を見つけました。
Kunosada-san opened the rear door and laid Yamazoe Uki on the back seat.
その子が？
多分、実験の生き残りかと。保護？
え、それは。まあいいわ。しばらくうちで預かっとく。
I mean, we basically kidnapped her, so.
頼みます。
Kunosada-san hadn't even dropped her attitude for Detective Shinjo-san, but now she was being polite. Just who was this woman?
で、そっちの子たちは？お友達じゃないわよね。
I like that. She's like, your friends? Oh, wait, no, you don't have friends.
こっちは使えるかどうか、後ほど判断します。私の家まで送っていただければ。
To your place? She seemed to be referring to us, but what does she mean by good? She was as arrogant as ever, and as usual, she was pissing me off.
了解。とにかくみんな乗りなさい。早く。
Her voice got a little sharper as she pointed to the middle seat at the back of the van. We could hear what sounded like a lot of yelling coming from the direction of the hospital. We quickly jumped inside and closed the door. Kunosada-san got in the front passenger seat. The van started up quietly and headed off into the night. I will be impressed if they don't eventually track us
ここ
down.
だ。入れ。何をぼさっとしている。さっさとしろ。
What is it?
お邪魔します。
Oh. It's a steer. Hey, it kind of looks like my studio. I mean, she sits on the floor, but like, oh my gosh, wow. This looks like the same apartments that girl, what's her name? She's the girl at Steins Gate who typed on her phone, Moeka. It looks like the same apartments that Moeka stayed in, the small, really like ratty ones. But look at that. She's got a pile of laundry, including like underwear in the corner. She has water bottles next to a cushion on the floor and a small TV. I thought this It is a surprising setup. I kind of got this impression that she was going to have like a lot of resources or like, I don't know, like a full-time job. This looks more like starving college student with a decent sound system.
人の家の中をじろじろ無遠慮に見るものじゃない。
It's hard not to. It's kind of a surprise.
家って、もしかしてここが久野里さんの？
そうだ。何か問題でもあるのか？
Nope. I'm not saying a word.
いや、だって。
The outside wasn't much better, but looking inside, it was hard to believe that there were still apartments this dumpy in Shibuya. Also, am I going to notice here, is that just newspaper sitting on the floor? What is happening here? The same was true for everything else in the room. Everything in the apartment was the cheapest kind you could buy. I mean, that just makes her intensely practical. The one thing that was worth anything was the computer.
Huh?
どうした宮下。おっ
I pushed Ito out of the way and ran over to the computer. The monitor was still on, and the page there was one I'd seen many times. Oh yeah, Shibuya News. Are they actually going to figure this out now? And it wasn't the display version of the page that we'd seen so many times. The page was in the process of being edited.
嘘。もしかしてKei-san?
He's like, it's you? She's like, oh man. So that was it. I thought I'd heard her voice somewhere before. Her voice was just too different from the gentle Kei-san that we were used to hearing. But her voice was, without a doubt, Kei-san's.
嘘マジKeiさんってKeiさん渋谷ニュースの
Ito, yeah, come on. We're there. Ito was clearly pretty excited too. I mean, I would be too. Like, you're meeting her. She obviously has been like a very strong motivation and kind of almost like a partner, someone you aspire to be like. And she's beautiful and really smart, but a bit mean. Of course he was. Kei-san was someone we both admired. She was the ultimate right-sider. Since I admitted it, that meant that she had to be the top of her class. I never thought I'd be able to meet her like this, though. But can't say I ever imagined Kei-san having a weird personality like this. Really, though? Are you that surprised? Kurosato-san, the girl who had been insulting us the whole evening, was the same person that gentle Kei-san that we knew from the Shibuya News. Which was the real one? I didn't know. And why had Kei-san brought us to her room? I thought I'd remember her saying she'd decide if she could use this later. Okay. I know what this red one's going to be. The red one is going to be that she's going to kill us because we're a liability. It's gotta, with her, with Mio, we gotta do this. I don't know what it'll be, but we gotta go for it. I looked over and I saw something strange in the corner of the room. Oh my gosh. Whoa, whoa. That's a replica. That's a replica of Best Girls from the first game. Like that's her D-Sword, but like a recreation of it. Like she saw it and she tried to rebuild it. That's absolutely what that's supposed to be, right? Gosh darn it, I hate myself because like I know I didn't. It hasn't been that long since I played the game, but like my brain is just shutting off. I mean, to be fair, I was working nights at the time I was recording that, and so maybe that's probably why I am struggling to to remember it. Is it Senna? It's got to be Senna, right? And I'm going all over the place trying to Okay. It is Senna. Senna Oi. Like, how did I not remember that? Senna, best girl. Anyway, that's definitely her D-sword. Or at least a recreation of it. The only assumption I could make when I laid eyes on it was that that was a sword. But I wasn't sure if most people who saw it would think that. The design was complicated and frankly unrealistic. For some reason, looking at it made me feel uneasy. It made me feel really bad, actually. What was that? If someone told me it was for cosplay, I'd probably believe them. If nothing else, it didn't match the image I had of the person in front of me. Not the Kei-san I knew from Shibuya News, or the Kunosada-san who'd been cursing me out the whole night. Did she maybe have a third identity? Maybe she was a famous cosplayer. Or maybe she was a toy artisan who made life-size weapons. Maybe she was an otaku who collected swords like this. Oh, I'm pretty sure she's otaku. Like, this room screams like a at Chandler. Either way, felt like a bad idea to mention it. Best to just ignore it. Best to just pretend I never saw it. We gotta see what this is.
Miyashiro.
Oh no.
Huh?
Hi.
その件が気になるのか。
Kunosada-san brought it up. Even though I was trying my hardest to ignore it.
いや、別に。
I tried my best to laugh and avoid looking at it. Kunosada-san must have sensed what I was doing because she dropped the subject instead.
やはり、お前こそが真のアウグルなんだな。
Oh gosh, a true augur? What's that supposed to mean? Oh no. That seems like something Ayase would have said, right? She whispered that. What was going on? Why had she brought us here? The window started to rattle. Must have been the wind. The only things I could see outside the window were the streetlights shining in the darkness. For some reason, I felt very anxious. And then it came without warning. There was a huge crash as the window shattered. The black ball landed in the center of the room. Is she gonna, like, grab the sword and kill whatever it is?
なんだ
捕らえましたよ、久野里美代。
Wait, what? There's the tiny girl with glasses. I knew her face. She was the girl who had seen at AH Tokyo General Hospital.
つけられていたか。
見つけたからには皆さんの命はありません。平等にエゼクサンをします。
But why? This delusion doesn't even make sense. We took her out of that place. Why would she have to follow us?
宮代さん、あなたもです。
Of course.
はあ。
For some reason, I didn't sound very worried. I was having trouble keeping up with the situation.
僕。
Oh, Setika. Setika was clinging to me, a little afraid. It was rare to see her look like that. Normally, she was optimistic and easygoing. As the man here, I needed to protect her. Oh, gosh.
私は風使い。人呼んでウィーゼルサイス。
The Windmaster and I'm the Weasel Scythe? Okay.
ウィーゼルサイズ。
That translation it translates to the phenomena in which the body is suddenly marked with a wound as it had been cut by a sharp blade.
かまいたち。
I saw that her nails are shining emerald green. Did she paint them with luminescent paint?
セブンスのプラーガが出張ってくるとはな。
We're going into full Chinobiyo mode. Okay, what's happening here?
だが分かっているのか。ここはセロパライズだぞ。力を使えばどうなるか。
知ったことではありません。我が使命はただ一つ。計画の障害を取り除くことだけですから。
By the way, I noticed that her name literally has become Weasel Scythe.
させるか。
Kunosada-san reached for her blade, but before she could,
可視化せよ、我が風。
a burst of wind blew through the room. The wind shone emerald green.
急 切り裂け
島
Oh. The emerald wind surrounded Kunosato-san's body. Her clothes were torn apart. Oh no. Is that the only difference? It would be the same, but in this reality, because we did the positive one, it's just the clothes. But if we did the dark one, it would be her body. Oh no. Not just her clothes, her beautiful skin and long black hair were ripped apart by invisible blades. Oh. Red blood flew through the air.
なんだよ。なんだよこれ。
Kunosato-san fell to the ground covered in blood. Her hand had just managed to grab the blade, but she couldn't fight anymore. Kunosato-san was going to die. But all I could do was stand there and watch. If I interfered, I would meet the same fate. I would be excisioned. Well, I mean, she was going to do that to you anyway.
オーガナイザー側のアウグルも質が落ちたものですね。クノサとミオ、あなた程度で私を止められるとでも？
Wait, hang on. The augurs of the organizers have fallen in power, it seems. That seems like almost a slide translation. The augurs or the augur is like digging, right? Like an augur is a digger, like something you use to plant seeds. Yeah, auger is a tool featured a spiraling metal shaft like a large screw or corkscrew used for burrowing holes or moving material. So the auger, so like the driller, the excavator of the organizers. But doesn't that seem like the something of the organization, like the organization of 300? Like, and we know Momose is involved with the 300. At least she was in the first game. So I'm not sure what that means. It feels like it's intentionally like kind of close to the reality though. Kunosato-san gritted her teeth and staggered to her feet using the sword as a support. You're crazy. You shouldn't have stood back up. Not with how tattered you are. She'll just kill you.
いや、シロ。
With the last of her strength, Kunosato-san offered me her sword.
剣を取れ。私には使いこなせなかったが、お前なら。
Oh, it's very dramatic and very anime.
お前だからこそ真の力を引き出せる。成層圏グラジオラスはお前のために、カオスチャイルドのためにある剣なんだから。
So many things. The ideal blade, which is just amazing. Gladiolus was created for you, the Chaos Child.
僕のためにある。
My name was the Chaos Child. I mean, roll credits. Kunosato-san pushed it into my hands, her arm strong, but not strong enough that she was forcing me to take it.
宮代拓、戦え。
Fight? Me?
戦え。でないとみんな死ぬ。
And then Kunosato-san collapsed into my arms. I grabbed her, and suddenly my hands were slick with red blood. She'd always been so intimidating that I thought she was much taller than me. But her body was so frail and so light. She was just a girl, too. But she'd fought so hard until she'd ended up like this. I had to do it. I didn't know what was going on, but if I didn't stop her, not only would Kunosato-san's life and my life, but Setka and Nito's lives would be in danger as well. I have to protect everyone. I let Kunosato-san on the ground and motioned to Setka and Nito to step back. I tightly gripped the sword I'd been given. Then I turned to face the girl wearing glasses, Weasel Slythe.
話は終わりましたか？ カオスチャイルド。
She's just rolling with it. I glared at her silently.
あなたがその剣を取るというのなら、ウィーゼルサイズの名にかけて容赦しません。真の覚醒へと至る前に、今ここでエゼクサンをします。
I didn't know what to expect. But if I didn't fight, I would die. I had to fight. I steeled myself and took a step toward Weasel Scythe. Huh? You are your last year of high school. What the heck are you thinking? It is a Chunibyo. Sure, any Japanese boy who grew up on manga could fantasize about something like that, but it was all tropes and cliches. If I had gotten launched into a magazine, it would have been canceled after 10 weeks. I blame the sword that's just sitting in the corner. Anybody who sees that sword will remember his dark past. Anyway, this is not the time to be thinking about the sword.
ケイさん、俺マジファンなんす。声聞いてるだけで超癒されるっつうか。
Oh gosh. Ito, don't, fanboy.
そんなことはどうでもいい。
I don't care. As I sat there fantasizing, Kunosato-san was tearing apart Ito's hopes and dreams, just meticulously ripping his heart to pieces. He was having a bad time.
それよりお前。
え？
お前だ、宮代拓。いちいち聞き返すな。
はい。なんでしょう。
Crap, she's really scary. Is the Kei-san I love only an image I created for myself? And is this girl who she really is? Kunosato-san stood by the wall and glared at me, obviously oblivious to how I felt.
お前は何の能力者だ？
Yeah, right, I knew it. She's gonna bring this up because it's like very clear. He's clearly gonna have a power.
Huh?
It was so sudden that I didn't know what I'd been asked. Power? Who? Me?
さっき言ったろ。あの地下施設は今厳重に封鎖されている。ど素人がそんな簡単に入り込めるような場所じゃない。
Oh, and do you have a power then? That would explain a lot, actually.
それはたまたまですよ。なんか偶然とか重なってうまく入れただけです。
Maybe that is your power, dude. Maybe just lucky.
隠すな。お前はそれを能力でやってのけたんだ。
だから違います。
監視モニターがいきなり起動したのだってそうだ。
What is she talking about? I don't have that any kind of power. And hey, Kei-san, I respect you, so try not to disappoint me so much.
大体何を根拠にそんなことは。
地下施設にお前たちが潜入しているのを見つけたときにな。お前かそっちの彼か、どちらかが能力者じゃないかと疑った。
You or he, like Ito? Kunosato-san pointed to me and Ito in turn. What about Seneca?
俺もすか？
Because I think it's Seneca. She's the one that seems to be miraculously opening doors.
ああ。だが、お前の方はその後、何の反応も示さなかったからな。除外した。
I eliminated you.
反応
？11番目のロールシャッハ画像を見た時の反応だよ。
Ugh, I don't like it either, though. That thing sucks. Kunosato-san's deep, dark eyes were peering into me.
だが宮代拓、あの画像を見た時、お前は激しく動揺した。
Yeah, he did.
いや、だってあんな気色悪い絵ですよ。当たり前じゃないですか。
お前のはそういう反応とは全く違う。あの画像を見た時にどう感じた？思い出してみろ。
God. The feeling I'd experienced when I'd seen the sumo sticker image came back to me. When I looked at it, all the hairs on my body stood on end and I was attacked by nightmarish delusions from which there was no escape. That was so scary that I couldn't help but look away from it.
じゃあ、身の潔白を証明するために、もう一度見てみるか？あの画像を。
Oh, she's got us there. Look at that. See, she looks way cute. She looks so cute with a smile. That's awesome. Man, she's such a great... she's cool. Like, someone posted that meme in the Discord. It's just like I'm toxic and antisocial, but I'm hot, so it's okay. Kunosada-san turned toward her computer and opened up a folder. She watched my face carefully as she moved to click on an image inside the folder.
嫌です。やめてください。
I slowly sank to the floor and sat down, sweat pouring from my body. I looked away from the computer. I didn't have the courage to look at that image again.
いい加減にしてください。
I was wondering when you were going to speak up. Sedeka interrupted with a yell. It was the first time in ages I'd heard her yell. I looked up to see her standing between me and Kunosada-san with her hands on her hips.
一体何なんですか？特に超能力ってそんなアニメや漫画みたいな話真面目にしてどうかしてますよ。
I don't know. We've long passed like normal land here. Like everything's on the table.
何？
尾上。
タクは人が殺された場所とかでいっぱいあのシールを見てきてるんです。気持ちが悪くなるの当たり前じゃないですか。
I don't know, dude. Like, I get she's trying to defend him, but like, we could be learning some stuff here. We should let, well, maybe she shouldn't be so pushy, but like, we should let her talk and figure out what we can learn.
私だってラブホの時のことを思い出して吐いちゃいそうになることありますけど。そんなくったらないことが証拠だって言うなら、私にだって超能力があるってことになりますよね。
いや、お前は違う。
How would you know that?
なんでですか？
Sedeka pushed harder. Whenever she thought I was in trouble, she would sometimes turn into a completely different person. She would try to protect me in a different way than Kurusu. She made me happy, and it made me feel better, but...
尾上、ありがとう。けど、ちょっとだけ抑えてくれ。
でも。
いいから。本当にサンキューな。
At least you're saying thank you, dude. Aww. There was no way I had any kind of psychic power. But I'd already suspected that powers like that were involved in this case somehow. So I wanted to hear what Kunosada-san had to say. Kunosada-san looked at me for a moment questioningly and then sighed. Then she took out her phone and made a call. The person on the phone didn't seem very happy about it, but they eventually gave their approval. She nodded and hung up the phone, then spoke.
また出かけるぞ。まあ、今度は命の危険はないだろう。安心するがいい。
She looks so happy here. Ah, that's good. What, are we going to the headquarters?
こんな時間によう来たの。まだ閉店時間までは間があるゆえ、ゆるりと過ごしてゆくがよい。
Is this headquarters? Kunosada-san took me to Cafe Lax. We were taken to the big table by the window. This background. And I see a sword here. I'm also trying to read the words on the wall. But I can't read that. It's too loopy. Okay. Come to think of it, I'd been here not that long ago. Last time, it was a listen in on a conversation between Arimura Hine and Shinjo-san. While I was thinking about that, the person Kunosada-san had called walked into the cafe. They seemed upset.
Huh?
When I looked up and saw who was there, I gasped.
こんな時間によう来たの。ゆるりと過ごしてゆくがよい。
Who is this gonna be? It's like really building it up. Oh my gosh!
用が済んだらすぐに帰りますから。
遅かったな。
You're both late.
私にだって準備くらいあるんです。
Arimura Hine? It's the girl I was just thinking about.
あれひなちゃんだ。
どうも。これってどういうことっすかね、先輩方。
Yeah, things got complicated.
知らねえって。俺に聞かないでくれ。
I don't know either. Why is she inviting Arimura here for?
っていうか、久野里さん、便利に使って巻き込むのはやめてほしいって言いましたよね。
Uh-huh.
互いに情報の提供をする。そういう約束だろ。
そっちばっかり私を利用してるくせに。
いいから座れ。
Arimura sighed, glanced at us, and sat down with a frown on her face. All right. I know this might not be the best place, and it's not the longest episode, but I think I'm going to end it here. I feel like we're going to get some exposition, and I'd like to really, like, digest it all there. Because, like, let's stop here for now. So, we have kidnapped the small girl, who seemed conscious, but she's clearly very strongly connected to all the people who are indentured down there. So why would somebody who's, like, cognitively aware of themselves continue to work down there? Like, that's going to be interesting to try and get answers for, but I imagine it might take us a while to get there. In the meantime, what are we going to learn there? Secondly, again, we're basically getting told to expect that Taku will be a Gigalomaniac. I thought Setika was going to be too, because it feels like doors unlocking around us was kind of like a thing when she's around. But maybe it is like something that Taku's doing just subconsciously. I'm not too sure. But it feels like it only happens when he and Setika are around. But then again, maybe that's because he always takes Setika with him when he goes sneaking around. So maybe that was just like a causality thing. Is that something with, is that causality without connection or something? Correlation. Correlation without causation. That's what it is. So maybe it's just correlated because we happen to bring her around on times when we would need to unlock doors. The other thing, though, is that I wonder what we're going to be able to discuss here, because I feel like we're going to get some solid answers now, and that's going to be really good to dive into. So that being said, I do want to save it for then. So thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for joining me on the channel. It's always a pleasure having you here. I love being able to share this content with you, and I'm glad you're here to show up for it. Hopefully we get to dive into some more good stuff next week and that you come back for more. But you know, as the meantime, I got to get some sleep. I can feel myself nodding off right now. It's been a long week. Good week. Long one. But I'm happy I'm making content again. And I managed to keep up with it, even though it was feeling touch and go for a while. But we're back on track. So thank you for everything. Hope you enjoyed. And until the next video you're watching me up, see me in next. I'll see you there.